Hello humans. It's your buddy Robo. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cool social media Lowethird. This was initially meant for my videos. But with all these privacy issues concerning Facebook, I don't want any of my important plans to bring the Robo clips shared to you humans. YouTube will be fine for now. In After Effects, create a new composition. I'm going with 1920 by 1080 resolution at 60 frames per second. The duration will be 10 seconds. Now, import your social media logo. Then drag this logo into the composition. Select the logo. Press S to open scale. Then adjust to your preference. Cool. Now, select the rectangular tool. Set the fill to a solid color. Also set the stroke to none. Perfect. We are going to draw a square. To do this, press Shift on the keyboard while dragging to create a square. Good. Select the logo layer. Right-click on it and choose Pre-Compose. Rename it to Logo. As always, ensure that the Move All Attributes option is selected. Now, we want to position this Twitter logo inside our shape. But first let's change its color to white. Go over to the Effects and Presets tab and look for the Fill effect. Then change the fill color to white. Good. Then position the logo on the shape. You can adjust the scale to your preference. Perfect. Now, as I was editing this video, I lost some footage. Bear with me as it was just a few seconds long. Now select this line. Press Ctrl+D to duplicate it. Select the duplicate and press P to open Position Properties and position it as follows. Perfect. The tip to create Lowethirds is to first design them, then animate it. Now select this top line. Press P to open position and then bring it down a little bit. I'll also do the same for the bottom line. This looks better. Then select the ellipse tool. I am using the stroke for this. Pressing Shift on the keyboard, drag to draw a circle. But before this, make sure nothing is selected on the timeline. Then draw the ring. Perfect. Now select this ring and position it as follows. But first, press S to open scale. Let's lower this value. This looks good. Then position it. This ring looks too thin. I'm increasing its stroke size. Perfect. We also need to create another ring for this other line. To do this, select the ring layer and duplicate it. Select the duplicate and press P to open Position Properties. Then position it as follows. Perfect. Now let's add text to this. I'm using Cyberdyne font. Link to this font will be in the video description below. Adjust the font size and position the text in between the two lines. Now, our social media Lowethird is complete. It's now time to animate it. I had previously pre-composed the logo and square. Select the anchor point tool. Then select the square. Position its anchor point at the bottom left corner. Awesome. Now press S to open Scale Properties. Go to around 1 second and create a keyframe. Then go back to the beginning of the timeline and set the scale to 0. Perfect. Select both keyframes. Right-click on them and ease them. Open Graph Editor and adjust the curves as follows. Make sure you are editing the speed graph. Now select the square layer and duplicate it. Place this duplicate above the logo. On the logo layer, set the track matte to alpha matte. If you don't see your track matte tab, right-click here. Go to Columns and choose Mode. Perfect. Let's preview this. Now let's go back into the main composition. I have renamed all shape layers for easy animating. As you can see, our logo animation is working in our main comp. Now select the line top and expand the layer. Then click on Add and choose Trim Paths. Expand the Trim Paths tab. We are going to animate the end properties. At the 2 seconds mark, create a keyframe. Go back to the 1 second mark and set the value to 0. Let's now animate this top ring. Let's place this layer above the top line. Press P to open position. Create a keyframe at the 2 seconds mark. Go back to the 1 second mark and drag this ring to the left. I am also going to animate its opacity. This will make sure that the ring is not visible before the line starts animating. Press T to open opacity. Then at the 1 second mark change the value to 0. Go forward in time and set it to 100. Cool. Now we are going to do the same for the other line and ring. I'll speed up this part. Let's make this animation smoother. Select both the top line and ring. Then press U to open keyframes. Perfect. Now select these keyframes. But before this, we only need the position keyframes for the ring layer. Press U to close the keyframes. Then press P to toggle the position keyframes. Select them. Right-click and then ease them. Go to the graph editor and adjust as follows. Adjust the curves to your preference. Just make sure that the ring is ahead of the line. Also fix the opacity keyframes. Perfect. Now we are going to do the same for the bottom line and its ring. Select them both, press U to view their keyframes. I'll be speeding up this process. Also, to add more character to the animation, adjust the speed graphs such that the bottom ring and line are ahead of the top line and ring. Awesome. Now let's preview the animation so far. The animation does not look as I wanted. We can fix this by adjusting the keyframes and the easing graphs. This process may be tedious, but it is worthwhile. I'll speed up this process. To convert the keyframes from Bezier to linear, select them, then right-click and choose Keyframe Interpolation. On the drop-down, select Linear and click OK. You might need to do this for the opacity keyframes. Perfect. Now, let's preview the results. This looks much better. Just a reminder, there's no perfect way to do this. Just play with the keyframes and graphs, until you have something good. Now let's animate the text. Select the text layer. Then head over to the Effects and Presets tab. Go into the Animation Presets. Then to Text. Then to 3D Text. Now, select the 3D Basic Rotate Y Cascade and apply it to the text layer. As I was using this preset, the basic 3D renderer was Cinema 4D. I ran into problems using it. To fix it, I changed my renderer to Classic 3D afterwards. You can do this in the composition settings. The text animation is slow. Select the text layer. Press U to open up keyframes. Then select this first keyframe and move it forward in time. Perfect. Now, let's apply some easing to the last keyframes to make the animation better. Simply, select this keyframe. Right-click on it. Select Keyframe Assistant and choose Easy Ease. You can also press the F4 key to easy ease keyframes. Let's preview the animation. Now, let's animate out this lower third. You can simply pre-compose all layers. Duplicate one of the layers and then time reverse it. But this is lame. Instead, I'll show you how to make it more dynamic. Now go over to the 6 seconds mark. Select both line layers. Press U to view keyframes. This time we will animate the start properties. Create a keyframe at 6 seconds. Set this value to 0. Go forward in time and set the value to 100%. Select all keyframes and easy ease them. Preview the result. Also adjust the keyframes for the top line such that it animates out faster than the other line. Perfect. Good. Let's animate the rings now. Select both rings. Press U to open keyframes. Now go to the 7-second mark. Create a keyframe for the position property. Go forward to the 7 seconds and 30 frames mark and position the rings as follows. Now go to around 8 seconds. Then adjust the ring's position as follows. Let's animate the logo now. Go to around 7 seconds. Then select the logo composition layer. We are going to animate the 3D properties. Press this box to make this layer 3D. If you don't have this switches tab, right-click here, go to columns and select switches. Now select this logo comp. Press P to open position. Click on this stopwatch icon to create a keyframe. Go forward in time and adjust the Z value as follows. Perfect. Now select the logo comp. Press R to open rotation properties. Go to the 7 seconds mark and create a keyframe on the orientation. Then go forward to the 8 seconds mark and adjust the orientation as follows. Select the logo comp. Press U to view all keyframes. Select the keyframes and easy ease them. Perfect. Let's view the animation. Now let's animate the text. Select the text layer and rings layers. Press P to open position. Go to the 8 seconds mark. Then click on the stopwatch to create a keyframe for the text layer. Then go forward in time to the 9 seconds mark and adjust it as follows. Also adjust the position of the rings. Move them slightly to the right. Better. Now select the text keyframes. Right-click on them and easy ease. Perfect. Open Graph Editor and adjust the graph as I'm doing. Then preview the animation. As you can see, the rings are not moving as I had expected. To fix this, select all keyframes and let's apply the same easing amount to them. Still the rings are misbehaving. This is because the position keyframes are Bezier and not linear. To fix this, select the keyframes. Right-click and choose Keyframe Interpolation. Change them to linear and apply. Then adjust the keyframes so that the animation looks better. I'll speed up this process to reduce the tutorial length. Now let's create a mask around the rings and text. Make sure nothing is selected. Then select the rectangular tool. Click and drag to create a rectangle. Make sure its size is big enough. Now select the rectangle layer. Press Ctrl+D to duplicate it. Duplicate it once more. Place these 3 layers above the text and both ring layers. Now we'll use the Track Matte tab. On the text layer, change the Track Matte to Alpha Matte. Do the same for the 2 ring layers. Now go to the 9 seconds mark. Select both ring layers and text layer. Press P to open position. Create keyframes. Then go forward in time to the 9 seconds and 30 frames mark. Position them as follows. Also add some easing to the keyframes. Adjust the timing to make it look better. Let's now animate out the logo. Select the logo comp. Press U to view the keyframes for this layer. Then create keyframes for the orientation and position. Go forward in time a few frames. Now, set the orientation value back to 0. Perfect. Select this position keyframe. Then move it to the 30 frames mark. Now go to the 10 seconds mark. Set the Z value back to 0. Also position the logo such that it moves off the screen downwards. Run preview the animation. This lower third is almost complete. It looks good. But as you can see, the rectangle that we used as a mask is cutting off the text. To fix this, select that rectangle layer and increase its size. Good. Now, run preview the animation. Adjust the keyframes to create a more fluid animation. You can also adjust the easing graphs as needed. Now select all these layers. Right-click on them and choose Pre-compose. Rename this to Main. Now we are going to create a background. Right-click and create a new solid. For the background color, I'm going with a darker shade of red. Good. Now, select the background and place it below the main composition. With the background layer selected, head over to the Effects and Presets tab and look for the Gradient Ramp effect. Apply this to the background layer. By default the colors are set to black and white. But I'm going to change this. For the start color, I'm using a darker shade of red. For the end color, a brighter shade of red. Now change the ramp shape to radial ramp. Then reduce this view percentage. Grab this point and place it at the center. Grab this other point and move it further to the right. Then increase the ramp scatter. This will prevent any color bendings that might occur when rendering this. Now select this main comp. Press P to open position. Position this comp a little to the right as it is looking off center. Good. For the final part, go to the Effects tab and look for the Drop Shadow effect. Apply it to the main comp. Adjust the distance. Then increase the softness. Before I forget, go into the main comp and turn on motion blur for the text layer. Turn on also for the logo layer. Also make sure to turn on this big motion blur icon. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and don't forget to throw a thumbs up if you liked my video. See you all next week.